do this.
Imagine this. A school's AI-powered video surveillance system detects what it thinks is a firearm. Within seconds, it assembles the data for an EIDO, sends it to public safety, where law enforcement is automatically dispatched. Lights, siren, and tactical gear included. Except it wasn't a gun. It was a trombone. And band practice just became a felony-level event. That's what we're talking about today when AI jumps the gun. And your PSAP agency or city gets left holding the legal bag. That's coming up next on TiPS, Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS, Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a NENA-certified ENP, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I bring you the latest, most informative, and sometimes a bit controversial takes on emergency communications. Today, we're taking a deep dive into a topic that's equal parts fascinating and terrifying: the legal risks of automatic dispatch systems powered by artificial intelligence. What happens when your AI gets a little overconfident and sends units screaming toward a ghost emergency? Oh, and before the attorneys start drafting their cease and desist letters, I'm not a lawyer, never claimed to be one, and this does not represent legal advice. Got it? Great, let's roll. Why auto dispatch shouldn't exist yet. Let's be fair, the idea of automatic dispatch didn't come from bad intentions. It came from the potential of speed and efficiency. We all know that when seconds count, AI can analyze multiple camera feeds simultaneously, detect gunshots, smoke, CO2, heart rates, and even motion patterns, and launch the appropriate responses, sometimes before a human even finishes saying, "What the?" Now this all sounds great until the machine acts on bad data. AI is lightning fast, but remember, it can also be confidently wrong at scale. The legal landscape. Let's walk through 4 key legal landmines that every agency, vendor, and policymaker needs to think about. First, false positives. When AI overreacts. Picture this. Fireworks on the 4th of July. The system hears bangs, flags it as gunfire, and auto-dispatches the SWAT team to Grandma's barbecue. Now you've got frightened citizens, damaged property, and an angry city attorney who says, "Who authorized this?" The vendor? They say, "Well, AI did." The city says, "But you built it." The dispatcher says, "Hey dude, I didn't touch a thing." Welcome to the new 3-way standoff, liability edition. Next is false negatives, when AI fails to act. Now let's flip it around. A wearable health monitor detects irregular vitals, but the AI's threshold is too tight, so it ignores the alert. Moments later, a patient collapses. Who's responsible for that missed call? The agency? The vendor? The algorithm? You see, there's no established legal precedent for the negligence by omission of an AI. But you can bet the plaintiff's attorney is going to find a creative way to define one. Next, data privacy and chain of custody. Every AI decision is supposed to leave a paper trail, or at least a log file. But if a system auto-dispatches, can you even explain what triggered it? Was it an algorithmic bias? A corrupted sensor? Or did someone feed it data it was never trained to interpret? And was that feed nefarious? Without a clear chain of custody for AI decisions, your smart system could end up looking pretty dumb in court. And last is governance and accountability. This one's the sleeper risk: contracts. Municipalities may sign agreements that hand huge discretion to AI systems while limiting vendor liability. That hold harmless clause? Well, it might mean your city eats the cost if the AI screws up. Even worse, if the AI dispatches an incident autonomously, a court may interpret that as an official agency action, whether or not a human approved it. So you didn't just buy a product, you bought a potential subpoena. Ethical and practical implications. Even if it's legal, is it right? Public trust is already a fragile state. When you remove any human judgment from the 911 equation, you risk eroding that trust even further. Right now, all AIs may not completely understand context, compassion, or even sarcasm. It may not be able to tell the difference between a Halloween costume and an armed robbery. or between a jogger's smartwatch fall and a real head injury. Human dispatchers do more than just connect the dots. They can logically interpret human chaos. And for right now, no algorithm can match that. Yet. Prevention and policy path forward. If your agency is considering using AI-assisted dispatch, here's how to stay out of the courtroom. First, keep a human in the loop. AI can assist, but it should never commit actions without human verification. Establish a policy framework. Decide exactly what triggers an AI alert, who validates it, and under what conditions it becomes a real call. Document everything. Maintain immutable logs of AI decisions that are timestamped, auditable, and retrievable. Regularly audit the bias. Require your vendor to show how the model was trained. Diverse data in means fewer false alarms out. Contract review. Be sure that your city or PSAP isn't indemnifying the vendor for their own mistakes. And finally, insurance. Ask the painful question, does our liability insurance coverage include AI-generated actions? If that answer's no, fix that yesterday. Look, AI in public safety is here to stay, and that's not a bad thing. But automation without accountability is a lawsuit waiting to happen. So before you let your algorithm start sending sirens, make sure your policies, your people, and your legal counsel are all reading from the same playbook. Because when AI jumps the gun, it could be your badge and your budget that's in the crosshairs. That wraps up today's episode of TiPS, Today in Public Safety. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you learned something new. For more updates and insights, remember to follow me on social media at Fletch911 and visit 911tips.com for a full archive of previous episodes. My blogs are at Fletch.tv, and my professional site is Fletch911.com. Stay safe, thanks so much for listening, and if you're in public safety, thanks for what you do every single day. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.
You've been listening to TiPS, Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on 911tips.com. That's 911tips.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and remember to join us each week for the latest on NG 911. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. Catch me on Sirius XM on various channels, including 90s on 9, the 10 spot, and on the weekend countdown on Hits 1. Or don't regret for the rest of your life. Either way,